Hello, my friends, and welcome back. As of now, this is the information we were provided by the corporate mass media in the West. Ukraine has a lot of grain that is not delivered from its ports. The reason why that is occurring is because the Russians are blockading and not allowing Ukrainian vessels to transport the grain out of their ports through the Black Sea and to the world. There is a shortage of wheat and cooking oil because of the Russians' blockade of the Russian ports. Therefore, the Russians are blackmailing the entire world by not allowing the world to eat. This is how the story goes. And I posted a video earlier today, I think, where the Russians said, well, we might unblock the blockade, uh, but you have to allow the Ukrainians to get their mines from their ports. The Russians also claim that they cleared the mines in Mariupol that they took control over. So they said we can use those ports, that port, for a shallow water port. So they try to make it like, oh, it's impossible. Yeah, how deep is going a vessel? 3,000 feet deep? Anyway, the port can get out. Anyway, so it says that we can use the Mariupol, and we cleared the Ukrainian mines, but the Ukrainians must clear their mines in Odessa, and everything is good. Now, this is how the story goes: that the Russians are holding the uh, commerce from working, and that's why the price for wheat and cooking oil and so on is high, jumped up. But now it's another article here that says that the story is a little bit different, gives a different ones. Obviously, we will not probably know who tells the truth, but nevertheless, this is from Reuters. So it says, I'm quoting, talk to Ukraine about ports, not us, says Russia ahead of UN talks in Moscow. So United Nations, May 25th. So this is from Reuters on May 25th by Michelle Nichols. So a senior UN official is due to visit Moscow in the coming days to discuss reviving fertilizer exports. Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia said on Wednesday, stressing that the talks were not linked to a resumption of Ukrainian grain shipments. Since Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th, Ukrainian grain shipments from its Black Sea ports have stalled, and more than 20 million tons of grain are stuck in silos, while Moscow says the chilling effect of Western sanctions imposed on Russia over the war have disrupted its fertilizer and grain exports. The conflict is fueling a global food crisis, with prices for grains, cooking oils, fuel, and fertilizer soaring. Russia and Ukraine account for nearly a third of global wheat supplies, while Russia is also a key global fertilizer exporter and Ukraine is a major exporter of corn and sunflower oil. Oh my. Nebenzia said that and I'm quoting, formerly fertilizers and grain are not under sanctions, but they are logistical, transport, insurance, bank transfer problems, end quote, created by Western sanctions that prevent us from exporting freely. And I'm quoting again, we are prepared to export fertilizers and grain from our ports to the world market, end quote. He said, adding that when it came to Ukrainian grain exports, and I'm quoting, I think that should be negotiated with the Ukrainians, not with Russians. I said, why is that? It says, however, Western officials say Any deal on access to Ukrainian ports would need Russian agreement, citing when what they say is a Russian blockade and a need for security guarantees. All right, so it says here the United States and others accuse Russia of blocking Ukraine's ports. Now, the ambassador Nebenzia has said there is an 80 nautical miles, that's 148 kilometers, long and 3 nautical miles, which is 5.5 miles wide, safe corridor allowing access to a major Ukrainian Black Sea port of Odessa. But that Ukraine needs to remove mines from the waters. And I'm quoting, they mined the ports, not us, end quote, Nebeznia said on Wednesday. And I'm quoting again, there is a corridor which exists, which they don't use. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba pours scorn on the suggestion that Moscow wanted to allow Ukraine to ship grain, telling the World Economic Forum in Davos, you could not find a better example of a blackmail in international relations. Okay, I would like to hear, Mr. Kuleba, what's your response to what this guy said? Is it true that you mind that? Yes, that's true, because that's what you do. You don't want the other guys to invade your port and have a debarkation over there, right? A landing. That's how it's basic military procedure. So yeah, don't deny that. I mean, you can, but I don't think that's gonna, hold water. Secondly, is there a corridor? Now this is where the debate starts. The Russians say, yeah, that's a corridor. Let them come, But the guy says, no, 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 not even that. He doesn't even get into that. He just uses, blackmail, calling names. And no, let's talk about the problem at hand with details. Let's talk about the problem. Is there a corridor? Is it 80 nautical miles long? Is it 3 nautical miles wide? Is it or not? He doesn't even touch on that. He says Odessa is Ukraine's main deep water port and used to handle almost all its grain exports. It has suffered a number of Russian missiles attacks, and Kiev fears that Moscow wants to capture it, potentially through an amphibious assault. So that's why you have mines. All right, but remember, they don't talk about that. They just said they hit it with some rockets. Russia's defense ministry said the port of Mariupol, the Ukrainian city on the shallow water Azov Sea, which was taken by Russia after a long siege, was operating normally after Russian forces finished removing mines. So you see, they didn't talk about there's mines or there's no mines. There are mines. There are mines in the waters of Odessa, because that's the way it goes. That's how should ABC 123 101 warfare, tactical defense. That's no okay. The second one is they did not rebuff the Russian ambassador's claims about the corridor. I would say, okay, if we do that, are you going to invade? And the Russians would say, no. So that's the problem. Are you going to invade if we remove our mines or not? See? So yeah, it's and then Russia says, hey, they can. It's not about us. It's about them. They should take the mines out, and they can ship the grain, or they can use our port, our Mariupol, and the world will be fed. So it's a sleazy situation, because that's war, and when it's war you can trust anybody. But nevertheless, you try at least. You try little by little. You have we'll see. So nevertheless, is the idea is not that the Russians, it's a blockade because they want to invade over there. Probably it's an invasion. So that's why they have the mines. So it's how do you start? If I remove the mines, you're gonna invade. Gonna go and have a landing. If I don't remove them, you're gonna blame me that I don't want to send the grain out. You see how it's going is. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.